There's no theme here, no roadmap, no neat little category you can tuck this into and forget about later. Some days it's history, the kind they didn't bother teaching you. Other days it's whatever's breaking the world right now, and sometimes it's something as stupidly specific as how toothpicks get made, and why that might actually matter more than you think. This is The Binge. No script, no boundaries, just whatever's worth obsessing over today.
It's the Binge Podcast where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast. Come join us fast.
All right, so today we're talking about something that feels small, harmless, almost insultingly basic. Sleep. Yeah, I know. Doesn't exactly sound like the kind of thing that should carry any weight. It's not war, it's not politics, it's not some high-stakes technological arms race. It's sleep. The thing you do when everything else is done. Except, that's the first lie. Because everything else is never done. And somewhere along the line, we start treating sleep like it's what you get after you've squeezed every last drop out of the day. Like it's a leftover, a participation trophy your body hands you if you've got time. And if you don't, well, just push through. Grab a coffee, maybe another, maybe something stronger. You'll figure it out until you don't. Because here's the reality. Sleep isn't passive. It's not your body shutting off like a machine going idle. It's your brain going into the back room, locking the door, and doing some deeply strange, borderline surgical maintenance while you're unconscious and useless. It's sorting memories, deciding what sticks and what gets thrown into the void. It's regulating emotion, cleaning up neurological waste, recalibrating your ability to think, react, and function like a halfway competent human being. You don't notice it happening, which is exactly why people underestimate it. But the second you start cutting into it, things get weird. Not dramatic at first. That would be too easy. No, it starts small. You forget things. Names slip. You walk into a room and lose the thread completely. You reread the same sentence 3 times and still don't absorb it. You snap at someone over nothing and then immediately realize you overreacted, but not before the damage is done. You tell yourself you're fine. You're not fine. You're just not broken enough yet to notice the full extent of it. And if you keep going, pushing that boundary, testing how far you can stretch it, eventually you run into stories that don't feel like stories. They feel like warnings. Take Randy Gardner. December 1964. 17 years old, decides sleep is optional and sets out to prove it. 11 days. That's how long he stayed awake. But by day 3, he's already slipping. Focus gone, attention scattered. By day 5, reality starts to bend. Hallucinations, paranoia. His brain starts feeding him things that aren't there, and worse, he believes them. At one point, he thinks he's a professional athlete. His speech breaks down, his memory goes sideways, his personality starts flickering like a bad signal. And here's the unsettling part. This wasn't some rare condition. This was just what happens when you remove sleep from the equation long enough. Your brain doesn't hold the line, it dissolves it. Now scale that up, because the real damage doesn't usually come from extreme stunts. It comes from ordinary people running slightly below optimal for too long. March 24th, 1989. The Exxon Valdez. Massive oil tanker, experienced crew, a system that on paper should work. Except people are tired. Not collapsing in the corner tired, not cartoonish exhaustion, just worn down. Long hours, not enough rest, the kind of fatigue that feels manageable. Until it isn't. The third mate, Gregory Cousins, is at the helm when the ship runs aground. 11 million gallons of crude oil spill into Prince William Sound. An environmental disaster that doesn't happen because someone made a loud, obvious mistake, but because their edge was dulled just enough to miss something critical. That's how sleep deprivation operates. It doesn't need chaos, it just needs a slight delay, a fraction of a second, a decision that's almost right, and then it compounds. Chernobyl, April 26, 1986. A test is scheduled. It happens after 1 a.m., because of course it does. That's when bad decisions love to show up, dressed as routine operations. The operators are tired. Their circadian rhythm is screaming at them to shut down, but instead, they're managing a volatile nuclear reactor. Mistakes stack. Protocols get bent. Judgment gets cloudy, and then the reactor explodes. You can point to design flaws, to systemic issues, and they're all real, but fatigue is in the mix, quietly warping decisions at the worst possible time. And the fallout? Not metaphorical. Radiation. Evacuations. A scar on the planet that doesn't go away just because people stop talking about it. Now bring it closer, make it personal. February 12th, 2009. Colgan Air Flight 3407. 2 pilots, both trained, both capable, both tired. The captain, Marvin Renslow, hadn't gotten proper rest. The first officer, Rebecca Shaw, had been sleeping in an airport crew room before the flight, not exactly a recipe for peak performance. The plane encounters icing conditions. It's a known challenge, something they've trained to handle, but fatigue doesn't erase knowledge, it interferes with access to it. The aircraft stalls. Their response is delayed. Incorrect. 49 people on board, 1 on the ground. Gone. Because being tired doesn't mean you don't know what to do, it means you might not do it in time. And then there's the kind of story that doesn't involve complex systems or high-level training, no cockpit, no reactor, no massive ship, just a guy in a car. Gary Hart, February 28th, 2001, UK. Didn't get enough sleep. Gets behind the wheel anyway. Drifts off. His car ends up on train tracks. A high-speed train hits it, derails, and gets hit again by a freight train. 10 people die. No grand narrative, no intricate failure, just a human being hitting a biological limit and losing the fight for a few seconds too long. And that's the terrifying simplicity of it. Because most people think sleep deprivation looks like collapse, like passing out mid-sentence, like something obvious and dramatic. It doesn't. It looks like you, on a normal day, feeling a little off. It looks like driving when you probably shouldn't, making decisions when you're not at your best, assuming you're fine because nothing has gone wrong yet. But that yet is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because the effects are cumulative. Subtle erosion. You don't crash all at once, you degrade. Reaction time slows. Judgment slips. Emotional control frays. Your ability to process information takes a hit, even though you feel like you're keeping up. You're not. You've just adjusted to being worse. And that's the trick. Sleep deprivation convinces you that your reduced state is your normal state, which is a hell of a place to be, especially in a world that demands constant attention, constant decisions, constant input. And let's be honest, the world is engineered to keep you awake. Endless scrolling, notifications, the quiet anxiety that there's always something else you should be doing. Even when you're lying in bed, your brain is still running simulations, conversations, problems, worst case scenarios, like it's afraid to shut off. So when it's finally time to sleep, you can't. Or you do, but it's shallow, fragmented, and not enough. And then you wake up and do it all again, and again, and again, until feeling like garbage becomes baseline, and you start calling it normal. So yeah, this started with sleep, but it's not really about sleep. It's about limits, real ones, the kind you don't get to negotiate with. It's about a culture that treats exhaustion like a badge of honor and rest like something you have to earn after you've already run yourself into the ground. It's about ignoring the one system in your body that will not let you cheat indefinitely, because eventually it collects in small mistakes, in bad decisions, in moments where you needed to be sharp and weren't. And most of the time, you get away with it. Until you don't. Anyway, that's what's been rattling around today. Get some sleep. Seriously. Because the line between I'm fine and I just made a terrible mistake is a lot thinner than people think. And a lot of the time, the only thing separating the two is a few hours you decided you didn't need. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe.
You know by now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. By now, got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. Tune in right now. Stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.